OK, we're going to talk about COVID fines now. Many people were fined and even imprisoned during the pandemic because they breached the rules while Downing Street was partying day and night, sober and drunk, online and offline. Well, let's go to Andrew Sathiyavan, a street preacher who was arrested and fined for breaching COVID rules by giving a sermon in the street during the first COVID lockdown. Very good morning to you. Well, look, just tell me, first of all, how you feel then, given all of this focus on what's been going on in Downing Street and what appears to everybody else as though those responsible are dodging facing the consequences.
Exactly. When I hear about the stories developing day in, day out, and I get really, really frustrated and to a point of furious because the way I was treated in 2020, April, I was out as a street preacher as usually. I'm a Christian street preacher, going about preaching the gospel. And on that day, April 12th, was the Resurrection Sunday of Jesus. And then as Christians, we value very much. And as usual, I was on the streets preaching the gospel. And then suddenly the police turned up and they brought all sort of accusation. They said, first of all, ASB, antisocial behavior, I'm doing. And then after that, they said I'm breaching the COVID law. And they even didn't know what was the regulation. They said it was law. And then I knew where I was standing. And I knew because this country was representing this. This land was founded by a holy Bible principle. So we were preaching the gospel to many people and going on the street, reaching out to the homeless, the drug addicts, the people who are really, really broken. And that time people were really, really suffering. And just
I get all, Andy, I get all that, but we're in a situation. We're in a situation here where you're talking, Andy. We're in a situation here where you're talking about God's law versus man's law. Now, all the things we're talking about, leadership from Number 10, the laws being made there, and in Parliament, of course, the laws being drafted in Number 10, passed in Parliament. Do you think actually there is a lack of moral direction? Don't do as we do, do as we say, from Downing Street. What would you say about the moral direction coming from there?
Definitely. Now, again, I can come to the Word of God. It's all about moral standards. If I say to you not to eat sugar and I eat sugar, is double standards, is hypocrisy. So that's what I clearly see in any leaders I see throughout, whatever party it's. So sadly,
I know, Andy, you're a man who preaches love, but also you must be full of anger for the way you have been treated and the way we are being directed from Number 10, I assume.
Yeah, I was imprisoned twice, fined £500. I was strip searched, put in prison, not allowed to speak to my wife. 8 hours in Birmingham, in London. And when I went to the courts to bring justice, to find justice, they increased my fine, the judge, for £500. And still I'm fighting for 2 years for justice. And I went to the Prime Minister. I was standing outside Number 10. Even Prime Minister saw me just after the lockdown. I have always carried the 6-foot cross and stand outside and preach the gospel. I was not standing for my justice. I was standing for the rights of the Christian voice, not only for Christians, for every human being. Because 2009, he clearly shared a message in a Christmas message. He said, we are going to stand by the rights of the Christians.
I understand that, Andy. Just we're out of time. Yeah. We're out of time. Just very, very shortly. That's what you stand for. What do you think Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, stands for? As briefly as you can, please.
I can't read his mind, but the way the way he reacts, and the way he has been reacting, it seems like he doesn't have any moral standards. If anybody has a moral standards, he will definitely react to the things happening. And I'm not biased to any political groups or political movement, but anyone, whether it's Boris Johnson or any leader, I really would like to say to him, listen, we are the citizens of this country, and everyone has to have a proper way of life and a freedom of expression, freedom of thing. As a leader, you should identify that and give that rights and allow you, even whether it's COVID or no COVID. We were the key workers at that time.
I know. We've got to leave it, Andy.
That was the brief
you got
answer.
Your point across.
Andy Sathiyavan, thank you so much. I know Christian Concern are fighting on your behalf against that penalty that you received during the first lockdown. Thanks for your time this morning.